Old school talk, R&B, and hip hop. WPMM online radio.
Yeah, you are now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham, also known as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well. It is Thursday. We are on the precipice to the weekend. One more day so that we can get this week out the way and move on into the weekend to where hopefully you have plans for the weekend to relax and chill out. But we need to be safe, people. We still got to be safe. There's still a lot of stuff out there that we got to be aware of. So be safe in whatever you do. But we are back. We are back to talk about the issues today. It is Topic Thursday. We are in studio today. So we're taking phone calls today. And I'll be putting the number up, telling you the phone number here once we get into the show to call in. Talking about multiple topics today. Got some breaking news going on as well. Something I just found out right before coming on the air today. So we'll be talking about that as well. But as of now, if you're listening on the website, we are on WPMMradio.com. It's the website. You can go to that website also and download the app. It's a free app. Download the app, WPMM Radio, and you can listen from the app. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, depending on what type of device that you have, Apple or Android, and download the free app. Again, keyword being free. Don't let that scare you off because we're not trying to charge you anything for that. Or we're on YouTube channel, WPMM YouTube channel. You can tell Alexa to play WPMM. She will oblige as well. If you have someone who may not know about the technology, if you will, you can text them, WPMMradio.com. All they'd have to do is click on the link, hit play, and they can listen to the show as well. Also, if you're on Facebook, let's go ahead and share. Go ahead and share if you would, please. Let's try to get as many people on as possible tonight because we're talking about some serious issues tonight, particularly with the week that we have had, not only locally, but all over the nation. It's just a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. So make sure you tune in. Go ahead and tag somebody, share it, tag someone so we can get some folks on. Again, we will be taking phone calls today. 850-221-0396 is the number. We're going to put that up here in just a few moments. But I don't have my sheet, but I think I can remember some of it. The disclaimer that I have to say, because y'all know I say what's on my mind, and if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but if the truth hurts your feelings, then you're doing something wrong. But the opinions expressed by radio hosts and their guests are of their own and not of WPMM Radio. WPMM Radio does not wish to align with any religion, ethnic group, company, club, individual, or anyone or anything. So, meaning that if I say something, it's my words. You can't sue WPMM. They didn't say it. I said it. And I stick by everything that I say. But you can't sue me because you're not going to get anything out the deal. I got 17 cents in that same jelly jar that's sitting by my bed. I promise you. I give it to you. But that's all you're going to get. But we're going to jump on into this show today. Let me back up. Before I get into the topics today. And I did not acknowledge it on the last show once we moved into the month of October. But it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And breast cancer awareness, is the month of October they set aside for the awareness of breast cancer. We have the breast cancer walk. There's different types of activities going on in regards to breast cancer. So obviously breast cancer is near and dear to me because my wife is a survivor. So I do want to shout out my wife as being a survivor. She's over 12 years now, over 12 years breast cancer survivor, and she's doing well. She's blessed. And if it wasn't for the efforts of the Breast Cancer Society, Dr. Inkling, and that wonderful crew he has over there, we don't know where we would be today. So, any efforts that you can, anything that you can do to help the process and trying to get rid of this terrible, terrible cancer, always do your diligence, if you will. But it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I want to shout out to all the breast cancer survivors. I want to recognize all those fallen soldiers to this terrible disease, if you will. And it's not that they lost the fight. It's just, it's the ones that did not survive. It's not that they didn't fight. It's just that it wasn't in God's will. So, I'll keep that in mind, and I'll be having more information on the breast cancer walk as we come along. Looks like we have a couple people on Facebook. Mr. Salter, how you doing today, sir? Good to see you on. Miss Rivers is on as well, and I think Miss Rivers has a birthday today. So shout out to Miss Deborah Rivers. Her birthday, I believe it is today. So happy birthday to her. She is one of my loyal listeners. She is on just about every single night that I'm on. And I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Let's start today's show. Let's discuss what took place over the weekend briefly and talk about what's going on now in regards to the aftermath of what took place, if you will. Over the weekend, it was actually over the past week, it's been a rough week in regards to violence, killings, shootings, what have you. It's been a lot going on this week in that regard. On this past Saturday, had the shooting at the ballpark, Bellevue Park ballpark. Then on Sunday, there was a shooting at a I think it's Sable Palm. It's a trailer park off of Patricia Drive. There was a shooting over there. That individual was, there was an individual that survived, if you will, but still we had a shooting. Then I think the day after, and there was another officer involved shooting where police shot and killed a man that they say came out the house and was shooting at them. So another incident with guns that we really don't need. All these guns and everything that's going on with these guns is crazy. But it's almost one thing after another. Then there was and it's so hard to keep track of all of it. I think there's another shooting, Mayfair, where I think the day after that, 2 days later, or whatever the case may be, in Mayfair, where the male and a female shooting back and forth at each other, whatever took place there, the female ended up getting arrested, and in that particular incident. So we have had a string of gun. I'm gonna call it gun violence. Whether it's officer involved or citizens shooting at each other. This week has been just terrible, if you will, since starting Saturday. This has been a bad week for the city of Pensacola, for Escambia County, and we're still trying to come up with answers. We're still trying to figure out what needs to take place so that we can get rid of or curb this problem that we're having in regards to all this violence. So I'm still, I've been reaching out. I done reached out to community leaders, elected officials, pastors. I put I put out a challenge for the pastors. I still haven't heard from any pastor. Again, if there's a pastor out there that wants to take me up on my challenge, you can contact me at my Facebook page at Gerald Graham. It's just my name, GeraldGraham, or you can email me at thetruthwithg@yahoo.com. That's simple to remember. All you have to do is remember the name of the show, thetruthwithg@yahoo.com. And I'm my challenge is for you to, I understand preaching the word. I understand all that. But however, when you have a community that's in crisis, and the church is the main place, one of the main places that Black people run to, if you will, for refuge or for guidance or for whatever the case may be, the Black church is one of the first places that Black people will go. You have an audience. You have an audience every single Sunday morning. Some of your churches have pews that are always filled, even if you have 5-10 members or whatever the case may be. Every single Sunday, you pastors have an audience, and I just feel like God will forgive you for bypassing a sermon where you just hooping and singing and this, that, and other, to have a conversation with your people and to talk about the community, talk about what can happen with the community, what can be done to improve the community, what can be done to try to curb this violence, talk to the community itself. And once you talk to the community, or whoever taking the minutes for that particular conversation or whatever the case may be, take those ideas to the elected officials, to the community leaders, to those who are active in the community, and try to get things implemented. And I put that challenge out there because I have tried to organize meetings, this, that, and other, to try to get people, even on this show, to try to get people to just listen and come up with ideas. And it's like pulling teeth, if you will, to where I can't get people on board. I don't have a captive audience every week. I have a a listening audience that goes wherever. Most of the people that listen probably not even in the Pensacola area, because we are worldwide, nationwide. So I try, but it seems like the only way that I can get people to come together in masses is to entertain them or to feed them. One, I my entertainment shoes, I done kind of put them away. So I don't think anybody want to see me sing, dance, or whatever the case may be. And I don't have money to feed you, but I do have information for you. I do have a conversation for you, and I do have ideas or whatever the case may be to help with this violence. I can offer that up, but I need the community to back me up on that particular situation. But again, I put out a challenge to the pastors. Again, hit me up on Messenger, Facebook at Gerald Graham, or hit me up on my email me, thetruthwithg@yahoo.com. So, but anyway, with all this violence that took place, we with the aftermath of that, we still have a situation where the individuals that were involved in the shooting at the ballpark, those individuals are still at large. There has not been an arrest made, and that's kind of mind-boggling, if you will, because this took place in a public place. It took place in an area where there were many people. It took place in an area where there was a lot of kids. There was a lot of adults. It was at a ballpark. So somebody's seen something. Somebody knows something. There's some video out there that somebody may be holding on to that don't want to give it to the police or whatever the case may be. But a message to those people who may know, and even after the fact, whoever it is, even after the fact, there's people that know who is responsible for this. And I'm not saying I'm not sitting here saying being a snitch to anybody, but I'm just saying, think about your community. Think about your community. If the people that's involved has done this, and if there's no consequences behind it, just think they may do it again. You know, if they're that bold and that brazen to come out in broad daylight at a ballpark where kids are playing football to shoot, you know, to come out and have a gunfight. If they're that bold and that brazen, just think about what they're capable of. And I'm not saying anybody's good, bad, or indifferent. I am just saying from a human aspect, if they're that bold to do that, just think of what else they would do. So for the protection of them, the suspects that's involved, for their protection, and for the protection of the community, we have to speak up. So, and with the aftermath, that has been there's been several organizations or groups or what have you that are offering grief counseling, and I would advise for anyone who has a child that was attending that ballpark, or any child, because the word has gotten out over the city that this happened at a ballpark, and in particularly it has gotten out that it happened at a ballpark where it's predominantly Black kids. So every park right now in Pensacola that is predominantly made up of Black athletes is a negative stigma attached to those ballparks, to where the people that are at parks that are maybe majority Caucasian, what have you, those people are leery to come to the city of Pensacola and go to one of those parks where there it is predominantly Black park, if you will. They don't, you know, it's been told. I've been hearing from people ever since this happened, and it's been being talked about that people from other parks are scared to come into to the city of Pensacola and participate in Pensacola because of the stigma that is attached to this incident that took place at Bellevue Park. So not only kids that were there are affected, it's kids all across the board that are affected. So we have to make sure that these kids are taken care of. So there's several organizations that have been having grief counseling. My understanding that the Escambia County School District and the Santa Rosa County School District were supposed to be offering grief counseling at schools. I know there was last night at Wedgwood Park, there was a grief counseling set up there. I think it took place at 6:00 last night. I know the Youth Summit Board is planning. I haven't gotten a date yet for them, but they are planning to do a meeting and youth grief counseling as well. There are other organizations that are trying to assist in helping these kids cope with this situation. So if you have a child, particularly a child that's cheerleader, football player, whatever the case may be, if you any child that was there, if you have a child, I will encourage you to make sure that those kids get the proper attention that they need. Whether if it's grief counseling, then that so be it. And we need to drop these stereotype that Black people don't see counselors. You know, sometimes a counselor may be the answer, and you won't know that until you actually try it, if you will. But if you have a kid that is affected by this and you never address it, if you never do anything with that kid and don't, you know, I can almost imagine. And I hope and pray that this don't happen. That there's going to be a kid that when they announce that, okay, tomorrow, you know, this week we're playing Bellevue, we're going to Bellevue. You know, there's another team other than Bellevue that we're going to Bellevue. I can imagine that there's going to be a kid that's playing, maybe 1, 2, 5, 10, that's going to say, I don't want to go to Bellevue. And I can almost guarantee you that there's going to be an adult that is going to force that child to go to Bellevue. I can't tell you how you raise your kids, but I think that if they're traumatized to the fact to the point to where they don't want to visit that particular park, or they don't want to go to a park because they think something's going to happen to them, I don't think that you need to pressure that child into going. I think you need to have a conversation with that child. I think that child may need that, again, that grief counseling that is being offered. But I don't think you need to pressure that child to go and force that child to go and play a game, because that child mind is on the fact that I might get hurt, I might get shot. Mine is not going to be on that game. So it's not going to help the fact that you forcing a child to go into a situation where they're not comfortable. So that's that's one of the reasons why we need grief counseling. Most parents don't understand. They just want their kids to do what they tell them to do, and that's it. There's not too many. Well, there should be more parents. Let me put it that way. There should be more parents to have dialogue with their kids to see where their mind is, where their mindset is, and take heed to that. Don't just disregard your children's feelings, and because that's just going to lead to more heartache, if you will, in the long run. So, we're a community that's in peril right now. We are, we don't look good to the outside world right now because of everything that's going on. And it's like every night I go to sleep at night and I tell myself at night, I hope I don't wake up to another shooting, another killing. And it seems like almost every morning I wake up, there's another shooting, there's another killing, there's something stupid that done happened that could have been avoided. So we still have to come up with ideas, and we'll be talking about that more as today goes on. So if you're just joining us, this is Topic Thursday on The Truth with G right here on WPMM Internet Radio. Topics Thursday. We're talking about multiple topics. Do have some breaking news for you, some breaking news. And this news may help some of you that's listening. It may help some family members that may be locked down at this point. And I'm still trying to get more details on it, but the information that I have right now, President Joe Biden, is going to issue pardons, a pardon to anyone who has a simple marijuana possession charge. Okay, once again, breaking news. President Joe Biden has announced that he will be issuing federal pardons to anyone who's charged with a federal crime in regards to marijuana possession. You will be issued a pardon. And from my understanding, I'm still trying to, it just broke. I just heard about it right before I came to the studio, so I hadn't had a chance to get into the weeds of it yet. But my understanding as it stands right now, if you were convicted on the federal crime, on federal, keep in mind, that's the key word right now, federal. President does not have the authority to pardon on the state level. This is federal. If you have a simple possession under the federal guidelines, under federal charge, federal indictment, federal conviction, that charge will be pardoned. Which means that if you've been in jail for that particular crime, what's going to happen is that crime that will be taken off of your record. If you are currently incarcerated on a federal possession, simple possession charge, then you will probably be getting out of jail, out of prison, out of federal prison, if you will. Or if you're waiting charges, if you're waiting trial or whatever the case may be for a simple possession on the federal level, okay, you will be pardoned. And I like the move. However, I'm not overly thrilled because it talks about federal. That word federal is the key word. And the reason why that I'm bringing up that word federal is because oftentimes, even though it may affect several people, oftentimes on a simple possession charge, that charge lie on the state, because it doesn't. If it rises to the level of federal crime, it gets into distribution, sale, this, that, and other. And that's not what he's pardoning. He is not pardoning if you are dealing marijuana. If you're a drug dealer and you was charged with trafficking, sale of marijuana, things of that nature, though I'm not talking about those crimes. I'm talking about simple possession. And most people charged with simple possession may have a nickel bag. I'm aging myself when I say a nickel bag. I don't know what they call it nowadays. But nickel bag, dime bag, and you just got possession of it, and there's no, they didn't find any reason for the intent to sell or distribute, things of that nature, then you're going to be charged with simple possession. And a lot of times that falls along the state. You may not be charged federally. But for the people who may have been found with a large amount of marijuana and they did not charge you with distribution or the sale or trafficking, then those are the crimes that I am talking about. So, but it's simple possession on the federal level. Biden will be issuing pardons for those. So that's the breaking news of today. So if you're just joining us, we're talking Topic Thursday. It is Topic Thursday. We're talking multiple topics here tonight. Let's move on. Let's talk about the coonery. Yes, I did say coonery. Let's talk about the coonery of our sad brother Herschel Walker. And again, we're all taking phone calls. 850-221-0396 is the number to call. 850-221-0396 if you wish to call in and get in on this topic, on any topic that we're talking about, or if you have a topic that you want to discuss. 850-221-0396 is the number to call. I'm going to try to get that up on the screen if I can. Technology, when you get old, technologies seem to move a little bit slower for you. But it's going, if you're on the Facebook page, if you're on my Facebook page, it should be on the screen. If you're on WPMM Facebook page, it is scrolling at the bottom of your screen. But 850-221-0396 if you're listening from the website or the app. Give me a call and let's talk about it. But Herschel Walker, I'm talking to the people of Georgia right now, particularly the people of Georgia, but talking to those everywhere, but particularly the people of Georgia. First of all, I don't want to think that the people of Georgia are the majority of people in Georgia are. I don't want to believe that they're stupid. I don't want to believe that. I don't want anybody to try to convince me of that. And the reason that the way I'm going to find out if the majority of people in Georgia are stupid is if people like Herschel Walker win the Senate seat, and if people like Marjorie Taylor Greene retain her House seat. So the coonery, and yes, I did use the word coonery, and that word derives from calling people coons. And yes, I did call Herschel Walker a coon because he is acting like a coon. He is acting like a Negro do-boy. And he is embarrassing the black race. White folks love him, the racist white people love him because he is doing exactly what they want him to do. He's on puppet strings, and regardless of what take place and what happened, they tell him what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and he put his top hat on and he painted his face black and put the red lips on and his dancing shoes, and he do just what the racist white folks want him to do. And Herschel Walker is about the dumbest a box of Kleenex. And I don't mean to insult the box of Kleenex. But if you have had a chance to listen to Herschel Walker, to listen to anything that he has said during this campaign, if you are a black person listening to this man talking about his campaign, if you don't feel embarrassed, then something's not right with you. You should feel embarrassed that we have someone that the Republicans have dressed this idiot up to be a puppet, and they have found somebody who's too stupid to realize that he's stupid. And I promise you, I hate to talk about my black brothers and sisters, but in this case, it is warranted. I promise you, it's warranted. Because he's putting himself out there at the behest of the racist white people, and he's too stupid to realize that he is a puppet. So the coonery of Herschel Walker is embarrassing in itself. But anyway, but since his campaign, his campaign has been full of lies, full of deceit. He has no platform. He has no idea of policy. He has no idea of what he is trying to propose or for the state of Georgia as the Senate representative. He doesn't know how to lobby or to write a bill he knows nothing other than making babies. Apparently he's pretty good at that because he keep making babies with different women and paying for abortions and things of that nature. So apparently he's good at making babies. He was once good at football, so now I guess his thing is making babies and not claiming them. But anyway, Herschel Walker is telling lie after lie after lie after lie. And he has personified the Republican Party and has solidified the direction of the Republican Party is to lie and then lie some more, delay and then lie some more. That is the purpose, the whole purpose of the Republican Party. Herschel Walker has said he has graduated at top of his high school class. He has graduated at top of his college class at University of Georgia, which anybody can look up that information and know that this fool did not graduate at the top of anything. He said that he has basically impersonated a law enforcement officer where he has claimed that he was in law enforcement, which he wasn't. He never was. He has threatened so many people, literally threatened people to kill people, including his baby mamas, including his children. He has threatened to kill them. He has hidden 3 or 4 children until the research was done. Anytime you're in public office, all of your business is put out there on Front Street. But he has he was hiding children until it came. It's reported in the news media that he had these kids, and then he claiming, oh, he's a good father, this, that, and other. But good fathers don't hide their kids and try not to let people know that he have kids. And then these same kids are coming out to say that he was never in their life. He didn't raise them. He didn't have anything to do with their upbringing, whatever the case may be. But he claiming to be this family man and all about family and family values, this, that, and other, but you didn't raise your own kids. He also is claiming he is pro-life. In other words, he's against abortions. But it then came out that he has paid his girlfriend for an abortion. Instead of just coming out and saying, yes, I paid, I did this, instead of him coming out and saying that I did this, even though that they have the receipts, they have the evidence, so you're caught. So the Republican Party has taught him to, regardless of if you're caught, you lie. But there's a And then he claimed, I don't know who this person is that's saying these lies about him, and he don't know anybody. He's never gave any money to anybody about, for an abortion and this, that, and that. He's saying all this stuff, but they got the receipts. The woman that he claimed that he don't know already has a child by this idiot. So it wasn't a stranger that is accusing him, but he said, I don't know this person. Then he said, I never paid for an abortion. But the person, your baby mama who you paid for the abortion for, so you wouldn't have to hide another kid, is saying, oh, that I was pregnant by Herschel Walker. He paid for my abortion. She has the receipts. He has a receipt from the payment, has the check that you wrote, $700 check that you wrote for the payment of this abortion. Then the get well card that you gave her with your signature on it. But still, he on doing interviews this morning, after, even though the evidence is overwhelming, he's still lying and saying he don't know anything about it. So he's lying about that, just like he's lying about everything else. And Trump, obviously, he's doing whatever Trump wants him to do. Trump is still backing him regardless. But that's the thing with anytime that we're dealing with Republicans. That type of behavior is what the Republicans seem to be about. If you raping people, if you're sexual assaulting people, if stealing and hiding money, if you're doing things against Blacks, Mexican, Latinos, any Black and brown people, if you're doing anything negative against them, like, in regards to anything that is going to further oppress or try to oppress Black people, then that's what the Republican Party want right now. If you're good at lying, even when you're caught, then you are an excellent candidate for the Republican Party. And if you're stupid like Herschel Walker is, and you're Black and you're famous and you're willing to put on blackface and your tap shoes and your top hat and your red lips and dance the jig for them, they love you. And you too damn stupid to realize it. So people of Georgia, I need you guys to stand up. That seat is a pivotal seat in our U.S. Senate. And also the seat in Florida as well. Those two seats are pivotal. If we can hang on to the seat in Georgia and gain a seat in Florida with Val Demings, we can retain the Senate. And I'm telling you, if the Republicans get hold of the House or the Senate, it's not going to be good. If they get both, Black and brown people can just might as well just go migrate to the cotton fields, because they're going to put us back in Jim Crow in the days of slavery. I promise you. And I'm not just saying that to say it. It is almost inevitable that it will happen if the Republicans take over the House and the Senate. That's why we have to get up out of our behinds and get out there and vote. So, but people of Georgia, I need y'all to stand up. I need you to go to the polls. If you are dumb enough to vote for Herschel Walker, your ass need to be deported. You need to be removed off this, not just the United States. Your ass need to be moved off the planet, because even though, I'm for the betterment of Black people and the uplift of people, of Black people, but we can't put a idiot like Herschel Walker in office to do the dirty work that white Republicans want him to do. So I need you guys in Georgia to stand up. If you're just joining us, Topics Thursday. We're talking multiple topics. 850-221-0396 is the number to call if you want to call in on the show today. 850-221-0396 is the number to call. Any topic that if something I talked about, or if you want to bring up a topic to talk about, so just hit me up. 850-221-0396 is the number to call. Now, moving on, let's talk about Hurricane Ian for this moment. You know, obviously that was the big story last week when the hurricane came through. And I don't have the official number. I think last I heard it was around 114 people that had lost their life due to Hurricane Ian. So it's over 100 people that lost their lives, and there's thousands of people who has lost property and everything that they own in the aftermath of this storm. If you haven't seen the pictures and the video coming out of that part of Florida, it is terrible. It is absolutely devastating. So if you do get a chance to donate, whether it's goods, services, monetary donations, what have you, please do, because we need to help our Floridians, if you will. And this is not at this point, it's not or it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a political issue at this point, even though particularly people on the right are trying to politicize this thing. I think the governor of Florida is, first of all, the governor of Florida is an asshole. Just put point blank. He's a hypocrite. He was a Joe Biden hater up until the fact that when he realized that when Hurricane Ian came through and tore up the state of Florida, that he need the president's assistance. And now you kissing Joe Biden's ass, but he's doing it for political gain. He's making it political. He is what he's trying to do right now, and this disaster couldn't have came at a worse time for the mindset of dumb Republicans, because he's using this opportunity to advance himself on the political platform in regards to him running for president of the United States. He's trying to, at this point, he's sucking up, he's kissing ass. He's trying to do everything to convince people that he is presidential and that he is worthy of where he can take the lead in regards to leadership and this, that, and other. He's perpetrating a fraud on the people of Florida. Then we have people like Matt Gaetz. Just keep in mind, Matt Gaetz voted against a disaster recovery bill. He voted against it. For you people in Florida who don't have a house to live in, your home was there one day and it was gone the next. For you people in Florida who had 8 feet of water in your home and it destroyed everything in your home. For you people in Florida who lost loved ones in the storm, Matt Gaetz voted no on a recovery bill, a disaster recovery bill. He don't want you to get federal money to try to salvage and rebuild, because he made it out of political. He didn't care about you as a human being. He made it political. So for you people who gonna go out there and vote for Matt Gaetz, you all are assholes just like he is if you go out there and vote for Matt Gaetz. So, the leadership in Florida is terrible. You have people like Matt Gaetz, you have DeSantis, you have Scott, you have Marco Rubio. Those are 4 cancers in the state of Florida. And if you are stupid enough to go out there and vote for them, you really should be deported. You really should be wiped off the planet, because you're an idiot. Plain and simple. Now I say it to your face. So if you don't want me to call you an idiot, you better not disclose to me who you voted for, especially if you voted for one of those four. Because those four, if they had the choice, especially for black people, if they had the choice, your ass would be back in the cotton fields. You would be back strapped to a tree somewhere being whipped if those four had their choice. Women, particularly women, I don't care what color you are. If you are a woman and you vote for one of those four deplorables, you are dumb as hell, period, point blank. And I don't like talking about my sisters and my women, but if you vote for one of those four, you are dumb as hell because they don't want you to control your own coochie. They want control of your coochie. And you done gave them control, and you got to vote them out so that they don't still have control of your uterus and what you do with your own coochie. Have a call on the phone. Who do I have on with me tonight?
It's Charlotte.
How you doing, Miss Charlotte?
I'm doing good. I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
How come you didn't go to South Florida and help out?
Well, I have a full-time job that I have to maintain my household. However, even though I have to maintain my household, I did give monetary funds, and I am raising awareness for those people, and I am assisting in those people getting the aid, the supplies and whatnot that they need. So I can't drop what I'm doing and leave my house and my family to where I'm providing for my family to go down to South Florida. If I was in that position, I would go down there. But I don't have it like that. I have a full-time job that I have to maintain, and I can't just up and leave my job to where I can go down there and be gone without pay or what have you, and maintain my household.
But you wouldn't have been without pay. You would have been able to go with your job.
No, I'm not going with my job. Again, I have to stay here and maintain my household.
But you would have had that opportunity.
I mean, what point are you trying to make?
Well, I mean, you had the opportunity to go down and help South Florida with your job, but you didn't go.
But again, if I go down to South Florida and help, it's not going to be on behalf of my job. It's going to be on behalf of me doing what I need to do or what I want to do for the people of South Florida. And I have done that from Pensacola. So with my efforts, I don't need to be in South Florida to help the people of South Florida. Just like DeSantis is in Tallahassee. He may visit South Florida for a couple of hours, but DeSantis is in Tallahassee.
I mean, he's been in South Florida more than just a couple of hours.
DeSantis arrived for an hour or two, and then he's gone. I challenge DeSantis to go down there and stay in one of those shelters that those people are staying in right now. I challenge him to go down there and live in one of those houses where people don't have water or lights. I challenge him to go stay, not just be there for an hour for a photo shoot and a photo op, and then leave and go back to his home in Tallahassee and live the glamorous life. I challenge him to do that. He's the leader. He's the leader of the state of Florida.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's not living the glamorous life.
Yes, he is.
All the time.
Yes, he is.
Not all the time.
But so I'm assuming you are pro DeSantis.
I'm not saying that I am, but I do like DeSantis.
Okay, so stop right there. Let me ask you a question. And I don't know you personally, but I'm gonna ask you a question. With DeSantis, I'm a black male. In case you didn't know that, I'm a black male. Do you believe that DeSantis is a racist?
No, I don't believe he's racist.
Why do you not believe DeSantis is a racist?
Because he's I've never seen him do anything racist.
Okay, let me I stop right there. Stop right there. DeSantis. Let's back up. Let's go back a couple years. The state of Florida voted for all the people that have come out of incarceration to be able to get their voting rights back. Once they have paid their debt to society, there were 3 million people that were in that category. Of that 3 million people, the majority of them were black people. The majority of them live in the districts to where if they had the right to vote, DeSantis and the Republican Party would not receive those votes or win those districts. DeSantis, even though the will of the people said we're going to vote for these people to get their rights back, DeSantis has did everything to keep every black person that have came out of jail from being able to get the rights back that the people of Florida voted for them to have. You don't think that's a racist move?
There may have been circumstances behind that.
No, it's racism. It's systemic racism. That's what's behind it. And for people, for you not to see that, you are part of the systemic racism that we have in this country.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Case point. DeSantis has took the word woke and is using it for political gain. Do you know what woke is?
No, I don't.
DeSantis does. He's using it for political gain. Do you know what CRT is? Critical race theory is.
No, I don't know these fancy words.
Okay, it's not fancy. It's not fancy. Critical race theory is something that DeSantis has pushed in his campaign to either regain his governor seat or to help his political stance as far as running for president. Critical race theory is a class that is given in graduate school to people who are becoming lawyers, and they talk about, in critical race theory, they talk about the aspects of racism as it pertains to the laws of today. Your governor, I'm assuming you're in Florida, since you're a DeSantis fan, your governor has made you believe, and everyone and him, Donald Trump, has made all the Republicans believe that critical race theory is being taught to elementary school kids. He's made it to where it's been that he's made them believe that it's being taught to middle school and high school kids. Critical race theory has never, ever been taught in public high schools, elementary schools, middle schools. But he is pushing the narrative and the lie that critical race theory is being taught, and has passed legislation to punish teachers who talk about history of black people. If you are a teacher in the state of Florida and you go in your classroom and you talk about the destruction and the death and all the terrible things that white people did to our ancestors, you can be fired and sued. Do you think that's racist?
I think that's ridiculous. I think
that's what your governor did. You said it's ridiculous, but that's your governor. That's who you support, right?
I don't vote for anybody.
Okay, no. You just told me that you like DeSantis and that you support DeSantis. I'm telling you what DeSantis does with black people in regards to black and brown. Dude. So let me ask you this question. Your governor just played political pawns with a bunch of people seeking asylum coming from the South border who entered the country legally seeking asylum. He went to Texas. He spent money allocated for the state of Florida to go to Texas to put people on buses and planes, send them up north and drop them off in a neighborhood without telling anybody they was coming, why they was coming, how they was coming. Do you think that's fair?
If he did that, no.
Okay, that's what your governor did.
Okay, let me ask you a question. The last 2 years, hasn't your governor given both you and me a raise?
That that raise is actually pathetic. Is actually a slap in the face. And we're talking 2 years. And if I had to compare that, I've been employed for almost 6 years. I've received one raise. In that same 6 years, and I'm gonna use my wife as an example. In that same 6 years, I received one raise. My wife has received 7 raises. So do you think that's comparable? Do you think that's something that to pat your back on?
And that's strange because
Yeah, it is strange. It's very strange.
it's public record.
Exactly. It's one. You go back and find me another one in the last 6 years. Go back and find one. Find a raise somewhere. Please let me know. Go back and find it. I promise you, you won't find it. I don't know what other departments or whatever case may doing, but I know what my department is doing. There's been one. In that same 6-year period, my wife has received 7. In the 10 years that she's been on her job, she's received like 13 raises. So is that something to pat, to clap your hands and jump up and down? And the raise that was given was a slap in the face, especially for the work that's being done. So I mean, I'm just trying.
Who knows what this year will bring?
And it's not going to bring any different unless we get a different governor. And I'm just trying to bring the awareness to people like you. And I'm not fussing at you. Promise you, I'm not fussing. My job is to bring the awareness to people who are blinded by political stunts that are usually taking place by people on the right. Donald Trump has taken over the Republican Party. He has made people who are otherwise very smart and very intelligent. He has turned them into dummies. He has turned them into stupid people. He has made them believe in stuff that don't even exist. And if Trump can do one thing, he can turn people and make them believe that they're in a cult. That's the only attribute that Donald Trump has.
Well, the one thing that bothers me is you're always talking races, but when it comes to law enforcement, you've got black or white out there that is getting arrested. And the thing is, 90% of the time, it's a black person that takes off running with drugs or a gun on them. And if they would just stop when they're told to stop, instead of running with that stuff, it's not going to be hard on them.
So what you're saying is that if black people comply, they don't die.
Well, they make it harder on themselves by running. So even white people.
So if they run, that's constitutes the rights for them to die, is what you're saying.
No, it doesn't constitute them the right to die, but if they run, they put themselves in jeopardy. They don't realize they may have a bad heart and not realize that their heart is bad. Something may happen. It's not always the deputy's fault that they die.
Ma'am, let me educate you a little further. Let's take an example. Let me give you a few examples. Breonna Taylor was killed as she slept in her bed. Eric Garner was killed because he was selling loose cigarettes. He didn't resist. Sandra Bland was killed because she was pulled over at a traffic stop. George Floyd did not resist. They put the knee on his neck for 12 minutes and killed him in front of a crowd of people. Dylan Ruth, a white man, went in a church, shot 8 people, killed them. He was apprehended with the gun in his hand. He was arrested without incident. Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old black kid, was playing in a park with a toy gun. He was shot within 3 seconds of the police pulling up. So there was a young man out in California who was in his backyard who had his cell phone in his hand. He was shot and killed by the police because he had a cell phone in his hand. There was a young man here in Pensacola who had, no, it wasn't in Pensacola, I apologize, it's a different one. There was a young man that had a Subway sandwich in his hand, was shot and killed by the police because he had a Subway sandwich in his hand. They said he had a gun, a damn Subway sandwich. The Kyle Rittenhouse went to a Black Lives Matter protest, shot 2, killed someone, shot another one. The police gave him water. The police let him walk off and walk right past him and walk home with an AR-15 strapped to his chest. So you and nobody else can convince me. I'm not saying that white people should be killed by the police. I'm just saying black people should not be killed by the police, because any black person can die at the hands of the police at any point in time. I'm a 55-year-old black man. I've had encounters with the police over some bullshit.
No, you're not 55.
I am 55 years old. I've been here long enough to have many negative encounters and have seen negative encounters with the police just because the color of my skin. I've never broken a law to where I can go to jail in my life. Never been to jail, never been arrested, never been into that. But I've been harassed by racist cops. I'm not saying all cops are bad, but we have too many damn racist cops out there. And it's happened every day. And people don't realize the fact that black people, why are black people only 13% of the population, but we make up almost 35% of the prison population? Why is it that the black man get arrested for a crime, that black man do 20 years and a white man get the same crime, the same exact crime, and may do probation? This is systemic racism. This is what we're talking about. This is why we're angry. This is what we're fighting for, to get equality. We're not asking for any more than what we're supposed to have. We are asking for equality.
Well, I know this doesn't sound bad, but I've had my experience with the law. Someone tried to kidnap my child. And when I called the sheriff's department to come out, the deputy gets out of his vehicle, combs his hair. That was more important than finding the person that tried to kidnap my son. That was the extent of looking for the person that tried to kidnap my son. Somebody else's child could have gotten kidnapped, or who knows, they may have succeeded on the next person. So I've had my run-ins with the law as well.
Well, I'm sorry that happened. I'm glad. I'm assuming the child is okay. The child is safe, so I applaud that. But I can tell you how often that a black child goes missing and nobody knows about it. I can tell you many times that a young black kid goes missing and the news media don't even say anything about it. But on the flip side, if a white child goes missing, is Amber Alerts, is nationwide bolos, is all on CNN, NBC, is everywhere. But I know plenty black kids that go missing and not a word is said. We're lucky to get the police to respond to some of our calls.
Well,
we can get Jimmy Johns to prepare and deliver us a meal before the police show up in some instances.
On Live PD, they do show a lot of missing kids, and there are some black ones, and there are Mexicans that are missing.
Okay.
So, I mean, watch it on Friday and Saturday night, and
Okay.
you'll see on the missing segment what color the children are.
And Miss Charlotte, and I'm making the assumption that you are a white female.
I am.
Okay. And here's I have made this point many times, and I tell people this all the time. And I need you to understand, and every Caucasian individual out there in this world, I need them to understand that white people do not have the credentials to define racism. And I'm gonna repeat that. White people do not have the credentials to define racism. What do you mean by that, Gerald? White people have been white all their life. They have never had to carry the pigmentation in their skin that we have to. They do not know the struggles that Black people have underwent. They do not know the issues that we deal with on a daily basis. They do not know the flip side of being targeted. They do not know about being followed in stores because they're Black and they think they're going to steal something. They do not know about how police pull guns on them just because they turn signal wasn't turned on. They do not know how it is to feel to be passed off by a job or a job promotion because the color of your skin. White people do not know what racism is. And one of the problems that white people have is that they don't listen. Black people would tell you what racism is. And just like we're having this conversation today, everything that I'm telling you, you have a rebuttal for it. And it's okay to have conversation, but you can't rebut. If I tell you something that is racist, it's racist. Period. Point blank. You can't rebut what a Black person tell you is racism because you haven't experienced it. So if we tell you something that is racist, if it's a behavior, if it's words, what have you, if we tell you it's racist, please listen. There's no rebuttal. There's no debate. But white people always want to say what racism is, and they have no clue. But you want to debate a Black person on how we feel about being racially profiled about something. And I'm one of those Black people that's not going to shut my mouth. We have a lot of Black people that would keep their mouth shut and not saying anything about any type of racist behavior, whatever the case may be. I'm not that one. I will call you out. I don't care who you are, what your title is, or how you put your pants on in the morning. If you're a racist, I'm going to call you a racist to your face. And I'm going to tell you why you're racist. And I'm going to try to educate you so that next time, maybe you won't say or do what you said or did and understand why you shouldn't say it. I'm gonna educate you. So I need for yourself and all of the, and I promise I appreciate you calling this show today. I really do.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you go. I'm the type person that I don't care if you're black, white, purple, or pink. If I see that you are being mistreated by somebody and I see that, I'm going to stand behind you 100% because I don't feel like anyone should be mistreated. And I don't care if it's the president or if it's a judge. I will still stand behind you 100%. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I do understand.
And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. But but again, if a black person tell you something is racist, it's racist. I don't, and I'm one of those people. I don't make up anything about anybody. I don't talk about DeSantis because I'm just making up stuff. I use what DeSantis says and what he does, and I talk about it. I use what Trump says and what he does and talk about it. If there's a Democrat out there that does something stupid, I'm gonna call him out too.
Now, yeah. Matt Gaetz, I would not, if I voted, I would not vote for him. And I mean, he's, I've heard too much bad stuff on him.
Well, I mean, Matt Gaetz, Donald Trump, Trump was accused of over 20 women of sexual assault, rape. over 20 women, and he got 70 million votes. 70 million Republicans voted for a rapist.
I mean, I don't know. I never heard that. So, but I
do
don't.
your research. I promise you, do your research. There's 20 plus women that has accused him of sexual assault, rape. There's and just about a week ago, the judge gave permission, and I forget the young lady's name, who's suing Donald Trump for raping her. The judge granted that trial to go forth. Do your research.
But aren't they supposed to keep? I mean, I thought they were supposed to keep their names confidential, so
No,
it didn't get out there for that person's privacy. I mean,
no, that young lady that is suing Donald Trump for her rape. She's out there. She's not hiding it. She's making it known that she's suing Donald Trump, and the last judge that heard the case in far as the preliminaries, they granted for her lawsuit to go forward. So Trump's a rapist. He's a rapist. He's a racist. And that goes, if you don't know about Trump, he refused. He was sued because he did not want black people in his buildings. He wouldn't rent to black people. Trump is on record saying that he don't want black people count his money. So, and again, I don't make up anything about anybody. Anything that I say has been vetted. It's been vetted, is confirmed, is proven. I don't make up anything. I just report it. So, Ms. Charlotte, I would encourage you to look into anyone that you're supporting, particularly in the Republican Party, to see what their background is, to see what they've done since they've been in office. You as a female, I don't know if you're pro-choice, you anti-abortion, pro-life, whatever the case. I don't know what you are, but whatever you are as a woman, you should have control of your own body. The Republican Party don't want you to control your own body. The Republican Party is trying to get you to believe that religion goes before government. No, that's not the case. You got ignorant people like Boebert out there that's saying that the church should run the nation. Everybody's not a Christian. Everybody don't believe in God. Everybody don't believe in the same God. We worship different entities, if you will.
But we all need to get on our knees and start praying. The end of times is right around the corner. But
we can't use Christian beliefs to govern a country of diverse religious people. That's why we have the separation of church and state. But we have people like Boebert, who is telling people that church, the separation of church and state shouldn't exist. We should not govern according to religious beliefs. So anybody can be pro-choice. Anybody can be for abortion. But it should be, the ultimate decision should be up to that woman, period, as to what she wants to do with her own body. And if you want a man, and particularly 9 times out of 10 is a old white man who's making these decisions and putting these laws. Lindsey Graham in South Carolina just is proposing for a federal ban on abortions after the overturn of Roe v. Wade. So even though Roe v. Wade turned it over and said, okay, now the states can do it, whatever, Lindsey Graham can come right back and say, oh, no, we need to do it blanket. We need to stop it all over the nation. So he's trying to control your body. Do you want a man that's sitting in Congress in Washington, D.C. to control what you do with your body?
I don't want a man controlling me, period.
Okay, well, that's what the Republican Party is doing. They control your uterus. Belongs to them. You don't have ownership of your uterus. But at the same time, go find a law anywhere in this nation, go find a law that has anything to do with regulating what men can do with their bodies. You won't find it. But they will govern what you women can do. And if you vote for these people, you are culpable in your own demise. Do your research. I promise you, I've done mine. And I'm all for women. I want women to be able to do what they want to do with their body. I'm not saying I'm pro-choice. I'm not saying I'm against abortion. I am saying that I believe that a woman should have the rights to do whatever she wants to do with her own body. She has to live with whatever decision that she makes, but no man or woman, if you will, should be able to tell somebody else what they can and cannot do with their own bodies. But if a vote for the Republican Party is a vote to turn your uterus over to the government. So, but once again, I appreciate you calling in tonight. I hope I've said something that makes you think, that may change your mindset and direction, and particularly in understanding why I say and do what I do. Because I am for equality. I don't care what color your skin is, but it's the fact of the matter is that systemic racism is alive and well, and it is persistent amongst particularly the Republican Party, all the policies, the legislatures that's been the legislation that's been passed, everything coming through the Republican Party is to further and to oppress Black and brown people.
All right. Well,
do your research.
All right. You have a good evening.
All right. You do as well.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, folks. All right, folks. Interesting phone call. Interesting phone call. But I want to thank that young lady for calling in, because I promise you, I've been trying to get someone to call that thinks a little bit different than I do, and we finally had that. So I want to thank Ms. Charlotte for calling, and I hope and pray that I have initiated a conversation that may be had, that she may take along with her and have the same conversation with other folks, and may have a better understanding of what the issues are. So, with that being said, it's been an hour. I've been over. I don't want to over on almost an hour on the show. But it was well worth it. It was well worth it. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. It's time for me to go. I will be back on Monday night, 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on WPMM Internet Radio. I will be back. And we still have more topics to talk about, but we're going to come back on Monday and finish this show up. And but the weekend, don't forget about it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Beware of that. So make sure we support those who are undergoing those trials and tribulations as it pertains to breast cancer. Hopefully there'll be a cure to be found with the money that's being raised and the efforts that's being made to combat this terrible disease. The numbers are coming down in regards to the number of reported cases, because earlier, as far as the death tolls, the deaths are coming down with the early detection and the treatments that are available. So that number is coming down, thank God. So, but be vigilant. Don't wait till you're 50 years old to start doing breast exams, because you wait till 50, you don't wait it too late. I would start, probably about 30 years old, you should start having mammograms, and you need to make sure you have a doctor who is going to facilitate that. And if your doctor don't want to do what you ask him to do, you need to change your doctor, because early detection is the key. Early detection is the key to survival from this deadly disease. So, but anyway, it is time for me to get up out of here. I will be back on Monday night, so make sure you join me Monday night, 6:00, and we will talk about the issues further. And until then, you guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.